Hi, I'm Kathy, and this is Belle. I chose to adopt a pet to give a pet a good home that needed a home. I'm a firm believer that strays make good pets, and I kind of figured I'd find an older dog outside of the puppy years that would fit my needs. So I didn't want to be doing puppy training and that sort of thing. So I found Belle, and she's about 2 years old, and she's fit into our home nicely. I had a great experience with the Cambridge Humane Society. They were very supportive in my choice to adopt and very helpful in teaching me about Belle's characteristics. And so I knew I was making a good choice to have Belle as part of my family. And I was also really fond of the idea that they were very particular about who Belle was going to. They knew she needed a home with some special care, and they knew I could provide that for her. The best advice I can give you in adopting a pet is to be patient with your animal. It takes a serious commitment. I feel really, really lucky that Belle is so well behaved, but I was anticipating some behavior problems. And she's a bit of a gift in that she doesn't really have any. But there are going to be animals out there that have some issues, and you really need to be patient with them and give them the love that they need, and provide them with a healthy home, and they'll pay you back in love.
Such a good girl. Hi, I'm Bailey. This is Ella, and this is Ben, and this is their dog, Blue. He's a rescue dog. When I hear the words Humane Society, I think of a place where animals who've been like abandoned, mistreated, or like strays or born or didn't have a home are taken to get medical treatment and a second chance at a happy life, given a new home and like taken care of and making sure they have all the things they need that they wouldn't necessarily have in their life before. Well, at my school, Clements Mill, we did a fundraiser for the Humane Society, which consisted of a food drive where you could bring in a bunch of different animal foods. You could bring in office supplies and cleaning supplies and a bunch of things they need. But we also talked about how that wasn't the only way you could help the Humane Society. You could also help by donating your time, because they always need volunteers to like help take the dogs for walks and everything. But we also learned that another great way is by like adopting a rescue animal like Blue was, or like my dog and my cat. Well, also at the school, we had a bunch of fundraisers, like guess how many treats are in the jar, cutest pet contest, to raise money. And we raised the most money that we ever had in like the 2-3 years I think we've done it.
Kevin is the black cat seen here. He is one of our shelter mascots. He struts the shelter whenever he gets a chance and likes to visit with everybody that's up for adoption. He has made friends with Joey. So Kevin, I guess, is a very social cat with other cats when he wants to be. And right now, as you can tell, he is helping Joey adjust to shelter life. They like to have little cat parties every now and then. Kevin likes to interact with all of our shelter guys and let them know that this is his place, but this is a safe place and it's a good place for them to be. The adoption process involves family members coming in. We ask that all family members come into the shelter when they're looking at adopting a pet. Whether it be a cat or a dog, we want them interacting with them. So we want everybody here. We want kids, we want grandma, grandpa, anybody that's in the house, we want them here. We want them to take the cats out of the cages and play with them and kind of just be able to get to know their personalities a little bit. We are definitely here to ask questions. We go back with every single tour. We are a part of every tour as far as the staff goes, so that we are there to help people. Dogs, we ask that people come in, and if they have another dog, that they bring their dog so that we can do a meet and greet outside. We can see how the two dogs get along together. Then there's an application process that they fill out, and we ask people to really go home and think about it. A pet is a 15-year minimum commitment, so we really want to make sure that you and your family are ready to adopt a pet home and give them a forever home. For us to get an animal ready for adoption, we are looking at minimum costs of $150 per animal. The $150 covers their first set of vaccines, they're dewormed, ears are cleaned out, their nails are trimmed, they're given Revolution, a microchip, cats go home with a cardboard carrier, dogs go home with a collar and leash. Cats are FELUC and FIV tested, and dogs are heartworm tested. They are also rabies vaccinated now as well. But again, that is a base cost. That is if the animal comes in and everything goes nice and perfect. However, it doesn't always happen that way. This is a prime example. We've got Ariana here who came in as a stray. She is a bit of a senior lady, so she definitely needs a little more care. She's got some dental issues. She hasn't been brushing that well. So once we get into stuff like that with the senior dogs, we're looking at more of an expense doing dentals, blood work. If we get any animals in that are ill, that have injuries, they require a longer stay, which in turn is an increased shelter time. So when we get animals in that are requiring this extra work, they sometimes come in ill, they sometimes come in injured, and they require a little more care, some antibiotics. It's a longer stay for them in the shelter, which increases our housing costs. Additional costs would include updating vaccines. Vaccines are something that we do here. We give them their first set, but then they are due for second and third sets. They're due for exams by their vet, just to make sure that everything is okay. It's not something to be overlooked. A lot of people think their animals are fine, you know, they look fine, they're eating fine. It's always good to get into the vet and get them checked out. Dogs' biggest thing is training classes. Training classes are very expensive, but very worthwhile, and they really pay off in the end. Helps you bond with your dog as well. Toys, leashes, collars, all the fun stuff that animals need. They go through it a lot, you're gonna have to buy it a lot. So those are definitely additional costs. We always try and tell people too to have an emergency fund ready. A lot of the animals that we get in here at the shelter are because people do not have emergency funds set aside. Somebody gets laid off, they can't afford to have the pet anymore. Somebody passes away. You need to kind of have safe plays in effect for your animals and an emergency fund. Pet insurance is a great idea as well, so we definitely talk to people about discussing that with their veterinarian and finding out what's best for them and their pet. Regular donations basically at this point allow our building to exist. They allow us to help the animals within our community. They also help us with our spay-neuter program. We ensure that every animal that is of age that can possibly be spayed or neutered is spayed or neutered before adoption. That is a huge thing for us, as we are here to reduce the pet population. We also have a lot of demand for supplies and medications. Those costs are always on the rise. They're always going up every single year we get our bills, and they are higher and higher, so we definitely need funding for that in order to be able to get the animals ready for adoption. Monthly donations also allow us to provide emergency care for animals in need. We get a lot of animals that come in, as I said before, that are injured, that are sick, and they need emergency help. That is something that we get in here on a constant, and we do really rely on donations for that. We have tax donation receipts for any donations that are made over $10. So please, if you have any spare change, you know where to donate it.
My name's Kathy, and these are my daughters Sydney and Leah, and my husband Jody, can't see right now, and this is Lexi, who we've had for about 5 weeks now. We adopted her from the Humane Society. We saw her on the website and went in and met her, and the girls loved her right away. She loved us, I hope. And we took her home with us. I always have heard that pet shop dogs are kind of support puppy mill situations, so, and I never really cared whether it was a purebred dog or not, and I always check the Humane Society website regularly to see, you know, what pets are sitting there and whatnot, and we've been discussing getting a dog for a while, so as soon as we saw her picture, we thought she was worth checking out. Well, we went in, it was important, they made it clear that it was important that the whole family get involved in the experience of meeting her, which was important for us as well, because we wanted to make sure that she was going to be a good fit for our family, because we knew she was going to be a big dog. So that was a good experience, everybody going in and meeting her, and then you know, they sent us home with a few toys for her, you know, have checked in to see how things are going, you know, it's been good. I think the Humane Society is a great place to start. You know, they always have different, even cats and all sorts of bunnies and everything else come in there. It's a good place to, you know, rescue a dog that maybe has even come from a situation that wasn't so great, and you know, bring them into your home, bring them into your family.